Well, welcome everyone to the Startup and Scale Up Summit, and I'm super excited to be here this afternoon, sharing with you 5 ways that you can do good and make money at the same time. Now, I'm Julia Felton. I'm the founder of a company called Impact Igniters, and I work with purpose driven business owners to really help them disrupt the status quo and create businesses that can have a massive impact in the environment in which they work and also help you create a great income at the same time. Now, the first question people always ask me is, Julia, why do I need to have a purpose driven business? Why don't I just have a business and I just go about doing what I want to do? Well, there is a compelling business case for you focusing on serving other people and making a great impact through having a purpose driven business. And in a moment, I'm just going to be sharing some of the statistics about that with you because I've been really shocked at the profound impact that purpose driven businesses can have, not just for all of the people that they serve, but also the impact that they can have for the business owner and the team members that work for that business. So, creating a purpose driven business isn't just something that's fluffy and nice to have. This is a key strategic business decision, people. And this is a decision that you can make at any stage of your evolution. It's clearly best if you want to start and you're creating a business right now and you're in our startup phase, that you embed that right into the DNA of your organization, into your business right at the start. But at any point in your entrepreneurial journey, you can decide to pivot and become a purpose driven business. So, what I'm going to be sharing with you for the next half an hour is applicable to anyone on their entrepreneurial journey. And I just really want you to understand that because it's so important. But why do you want to have a purpose? And how does that help you in the marketplace? How is that part of a differentiating business business strategy? Well, I'd like to suggest that it helps differentiate your brand in the marketplace. We all know this is a very, very crowded marketplace out there. The situation this year with COVID, more and more people becoming unemployed, setting up their own businesses. One of the reasons that we're running this summit for you is to help those people that are getting into business or people who've already had a business or a bit of a hobby business to grow and scale it. But there's more people out there, which means there's more competition, which means how do you make yourself visible? Well, creating a purpose driven business has that effect. It helps differentiate your brand from other brands out there in the marketplace. And interestingly, some consumer research says that 88% of consumers actually want to buy products and services from purpose driven companies. So they want to buy products and services where they know that where they're spending their dollars or their pounds is actually going to make a difference to communities and other causes that they're interested in. So let me share an example of that. So one of my mentors a number of years ago actually set up a coffee franchise over in Canada. And one of the things that they did was that for every pound of roast coffee they ground for the guests that came into the coffee house, for the customers, they actually donated 50p to something called Coffee Kids. And Coffee Kids was an initiative that offered microloans to women in some of the poorer countries to help them get out of the hardship they were in. So they were helping educate these women to get a better life. And what's really interesting is that as a result of that initiative, and this was just 50 cents, it was in Canada, 50 cents on a bag of coffee. By donating that, they got over $500,000 worth of press coverage. So don't you think that would differentiate your brand from everything else? And over a 2-year period, they were the fastest growing coffee franchise in Canada. So just think about that. This doing good, creating a difference is really what can help differentiate your brand in a crowded marketplace. Also, really importantly, for your team members, it helps them stay really engaged. And 90% of millennials want to work for a company where they're going to be doing good. And 88% feel that that's going to be something that's more fulfilling for them. So if you just think about that, by 2025, it's estimated that 75% of the workforce will be millennials. So if you want to stand out as an employer that millennials want to work for, then I would suggest looking towards creating a really compelling purpose and reason for you being in business would be a great thing to do. And also for me, being part of a purpose-driven company is we're just connected to a community of other people that want to do good in the world. And collectively, we can have this massive ripple effect in terms of changing the communities and the people that we're working with. So I think for me, the business case is really compelling. There's been a lot of research done as well about increases in profitability. Some research actually by Deloitte back in 2014 actually showed that companies that were more purpose driven, 82% of them were more confident of their growth prospects than companies that weren't purpose driven. And 17% had seen an improvement in profitability. So this business case isn't just for your consumers and your stakeholders, it's also for your employees, it's also for the profitability and financiability and financial performance of your business. So a lot of different reasons to get involved in this. But I promised that I would share with you the 5 steps that I help companies follow in order to create this purpose-driven business, in order that they can do good and make money at the same time. So the first step that we've got is rediscover your purpose. So at the heart of your purpose-driven business is obviously having complete clarity on what it is that you want to do. What are you passionate about that excites you, that you want to get behind? Because we all want to build a business that is totally aligned and really congruent with who we are. So we really want to think about doing something that we love. We clearly want to do something that we're good at as well, right? We also want to do something that our customers and the world wants, our consumers need. And we need to do something we're going to be paid for. Because actually there's a lot of people out there doing some really good work in the world, but they're actually offering products and services that people don't want to invest in. It's not a high enough priority. It's not a high enough problem for them. And as a result, they struggle to scale their business because they're not solving a problem that people really want to invest in at this time. So just think about that, the sweet spot of something that you love doing, that you're great at, that people have a need for, and more importantly, are prepared to pay for, is really where your passion and focus really wants to lie in terms of the solution. And for many entrepreneurs, we get into business because it's something that we're really passionate about. We want to change something in the world. We want to change it. We've got a cause that we want to make a difference in. So if I look to myself, one of the reasons that I got into my business, and part of my business is developing experiential retreats for people, is being out in nature and being with horses, is because one of my passions is rescuing horses and giving them a better life. And the horses then help and work with my clients to develop their leadership skills and their business skills so that they can scale and grow their business to the next level. So I've got a really compelling purpose about what I want to do. I think the other really important thing about purpose to think about this is I would encourage you, that I would like to suggest that you will want to take a dolphin strategy towards your business. And some of you might be going, Julia, what the hell is a dolphin strategy? A dolphin strategy is a win-win strategy where I win and you win. And for me, I think this is going to be the new norm in business. For too long, we've had much more of a shark strategy. It's win-lose. If we look at a lot of the current business models that are out there, I win and you lose. And I don't think that that's a way for us to be running our businesses. I don't believe that that's a way that business can be a force for good and help change the world and support it and help navigate us out of the crisis that we're in right now. And I think, when I look to nature, and a lot of my work has been inspired by nature and my horses, like I've just said, in nature always works towards a win-win. Nature's not working towards a win-lose. The daffodil doesn't think, oh, if I get bigger, then, I can destroy the tulip that's growing next to me. In nature, there's this whole concept of abundance. Abundance is everywhere. And yet for too long in business, we've had this whole competitive mindset, this win-lose mindset, which to my mind just doesn't serve us in the longer term. So, what is your purpose? What are you going to be doing within your business that creates a win win for everybody around you? Step two is how to get aligned and follow the flow. So, within business, we need to be doing something that we really believe in. I said that you've got to be passionate about, you've got to believe it, you've got to be aligned, as we say, head, heart, and gut. Because there's a lot of things we could do in business, but if we're not aligned with them and we don't actually believe them, then we're never going to be successful at them. So let me share an example with you. When I first started out in business, one of the early businesses that I adopted was a network marketing business for a health company. And yeah, they had really nice products, and the products kind of did what they said they were going to do on the tin. But I didn't really believe the products. I hadn't had any personal experience of them. They didn't ignite my passion. They didn't make me feel good about myself. And you know what? I really struggled to get that business going. And what I observed was the people who were doing really, really well in that network marketing business were people who were absolute advocates of the products. They totally believed in them. And more importantly, they'd had positive experiences. So I think about one of the colleagues who was in one of my teams, and she'd used one of the products and it had cured eczema in her son. Do you think she was evangelical about those products and services? Hell yes. And was she able then to convey that passion and intensity to people she spoke to? Absolutely. And her business soared. So that's what we mean about being in alignment. You've got to just be passionate about what the service is. But you've also got to follow the flow. So I like to be a disruptor. And with a product that is disruptive, you've probably only got about 12% of the population that would be ever interested in your product and service at that time. So in some ways, it's better, and it's certainly easier to go with a product that's slightly more mainstream that people want. So you go in the flow. You know, you've all seen a river. It's really difficult to swim upstream in the river, right? But if we go with the flow, it's much easier. And one of the ways to go with the flow is to actually understand where your strengths are in the business and how you add value to the business. And one of the things I've put into the swag bag for you, if you'd like to go and retrieve it, is a discount code where you can take something called your Wealth Dynamics test so that you can find out what the profile is that puts you most into flow. And I know when I discovered that for me, that made a massive difference to my business. And I think the other thing is when we're in flow, that's when work doesn't seem hard, right? We just love doing it. It's great to get out of bed every morning. We feel passionate. We've got huge levels of mojo, and we just get on and do our business. And it doesn't feel like you're doing business and doing life. They become fully integrated together. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have an experience of going through life where you're loving what you're doing every minute of the day. Because there's no point in going into business and being in business if we feel like we're a slave to our business. And I know I've been there. I set up a business originally, and to be honest, I ended up working for the worst boss ever, which was me, because I never gave myself a day off. And I wasn't loving it, and it was hard work, and it was a slog. And that's no fun for any of you. So how can you craft your business so that it's in alignment with everything you want to do? And importantly, you're in flow doing it. And I like to reference universal law. So there's a lot of universal law out there that happens regardless. So we all know that the sun comes up every morning and, you know, goes down every evening. That's part of universal law. That's the law of rhythm. There's also a law in universal law called the law of vibration. And the law of vibration says that you attract like things. So if you really love your business and you're exuding that passion, that confidence, that's the kind of energy that you're going to get back from other people. Those are the kind of people you're going to attract into your tribe. And vibration is such an important thing. So important. And it's maybe for some of you might be what I'm talking about at this particular point is a little bit woo-woo, a bit from left field. But there is what I call a secret energy to business. And I'm sure you've all experienced situations where you've maybe gone into a shop and you felt the sales agent has been really pushy and really demanding, and you just didn't like that. It was a bit like, look, look, and you just want to go out the door, don't you? And you just want to leave. And that's somebody that's not exuding great energy. So, how can you have great energy? It's being by passionate and inspired and motivated and almost evangelical about your business. That becomes something that just becomes really addictive to people around you, and people want to join you and be part of your group. So step three, and if this is, as I said, step three of a 5-step process. If you actually go to the exhibition center and you go to Impact Igniters, which is where my exhibition stand is, you can actually download this free infographic. So you've got that there for you. So you've got this roadmap of how to move through and create the 5 different steps. So step 3 is all about igniting your movement. Because no good having a business if we don't have a bunch of raving fans that really love what we're doing. And it's really important to understand that the business isn't about you. It's not about you as the business owner. It's about your customers. It's about your stakeholders. It's about your team members. So how do you ignite your movement? And why do you want a movement of people that are raving fans? Well, I'm sure we can all agree that attracting customers can be sometimes one of the most challenging things that we do. How great then if we can have a movement, a group of people that love what we do and that tell everyone else about us, that they become referrers for our business and pull people in for us. Because our raving fans are super loyal. They're the sorts of people that will buy every product and service you put out. And let's just look at an example like Apple, right? I'm sure there's many of you like me listening here today. You know, I started off with a Mac Air, actually was one of the first things, and then I ended up getting the iPhone, and then you end up getting the watch. You know, you get all of these different things because you're a loyal fan of Apple. You love what they do. And even if you don't need all of the things, sometimes you just go and buy them anyway. I know I've been guilty of that in the past. So these raving fans are really, really loyal for you. And as a result, they're going to spend more with your business, which is great, of course. But more importantly, they're going to refer other people. And we know that referrals are the cheapest form of marketing that you can get. But how do you get these people to form a movement with you? Well, there's a kind of 6-step process here to doing this. So first of all, you've got to have a strategy. You've got to have a strategy about how you want to build your movement. You've got to be really clear about who you want in your movement. Because one of my coaches talks about the velvet rope moment. And you as the business owner decide who you want to come in, who you want behind that velvet rope. You're a bit like going to a nightclub, right? When the bouncer is there and the bouncer decides who's going to get in and get out. So you get to decide who you want to play with and the game that you're going to play with them. You also get to decide the pain that you're helping them solve. But more importantly, you get to decide who the common enemy is. Because people get galvanized to movements because there's something you share in common. So within my group, Impact Igniters, people get attracted to my group because we're all about disrupting the status quo. We're all about disrupting the way that we run businesses and lead businesses. We're looking for a new way to do it, one inspired by nature. So that's why people come and be part of me. We're part of a rallying cry about how can business be a force for good and how can we do something different. And one of the things that helps really attract people into your tribe is also having a manifesto. And here's mine, my manifesto for Impact Igniters. And it's really clear about what we do. We believe that the way to the future is through leveraging the principles of nature and ancient wisdom. We believe that nature is generous and abundant. We know that we're the cause and effect of our success. We understand that everything we do has a ripple effect and impacts others. And connection, collaboration, community, contribution, and courage are our values. So that's part of my manifesto. And I'd really encourage you to create a manifesto for the movement that you want to have. Really, really important. Okay, so let's move on quickly because I know that we're getting too close to the top of the half hour. Well, what is step 4? Step 4 is about expanding your reach. So I'd love to give you an invitation here today. As a business owner, I'd really like to encourage you to step up and play big. Too many business owners out there are playing small. They're not making the impact that they could in the world, and as a result, they're not making the income. And I know that if you're getting into business right now and you're listening to this recording about creating a purpose-driven business, I know you want to make an impact in the world. But you can't do that if you're a shy, retiring wallflower. You need to actually get out and share your message with everybody. And you actually have an obligation to go and serve these people. An obligation, folks. Not just a need, an obligation. If you have got something that can make a massive transformational difference to other people, it is your duty to get that out there in the world. So please don't be selfish. Don't just keep your greatness to yourself, your ideas to yourself. Get out and share them with other people. And then find ways to monetize that along the way. Because one of the biggest tragedies, for want of a better word, that's going on right now is in terms of entrepreneurial education. Because in terms of entrepreneurial education, about only 3% of people complete the learning that they invest in. 3%, that's a tiny amount. And I hope it's not going to be you. So we need to ensure that if we are educating people on things, we create experiences for them, whether we give them the skills, the accountability, masterminding, whatever it is, to help them get the results that they want. In no other industry in the world would you be allowed to only have a 3% success rate in terms of delivering training to people. So make sure that when you're investing in programs, that you are making sure you're taking action and helping people get the results they want. Okay, and finally, step 5. Step 5 of the process is creating this transformational impactful business. And there's really a number of ways we can do this. As I said, we're all about disrupting the status quo and the way that we run and lead businesses. And there's a number of different business models out there that you can adopt in order to do this. So one of the most common business models out there is that you give a percentage of your gross profits to a cause that you are aligned with. So for myself, I've actually looked towards the United Nations 2013 Sustainable Development Goals. So these are 17 initiatives around the world that United Nations got behind and said, by 2030, we want to have achieved these targets in these areas. And 2 that I'm passionate about is one is about education and the other is about saving the planet. So in terms of my own business, I give back by actually donating my time to doing free mentoring with people. I work with young people as well to help them develop their businesses. I work with disadvantaged women to help them grow their businesses. And also I create experiences to bring young people out and develop their self-esteem and confidence. And I also give away to charitable causes aligned to that through things like donating trees for people that buy programs with me. There's a number of different ways that you can do this. The other model that some of you might be familiar with is something like Tom's Shoes. So Tom's Shoes, for every pair of shoes you buy, they donate one pair of shoes to somebody in need. So that's another model, a buy one, give one type model. But whatever you decide to do that works for your business, I just encourage you to make a decision and stick with it throughout the whole time. And, I've actually seen one of my clients who actually in the proposal process asked their customers, what are the initiatives that they're most interested in? Which of the UN sustainable goals resonate most with them? And they use a platform actually called B1G1, where they actually go there, and if the customer is interested in what we call life below water, so that's all about plastics in the ocean, they actually give a percentage of their fees to the charity or the cause that the consumer wants. And I think that's a great way too, because now the consumer has buy-in and is working with you, but you're also contributing to a cause that they want. So in conclusion, we've talked about the 5 steps, which are rediscovering your purpose, getting aligned and following the flow, igniting your movement, expanding your reach, and creating your transformational impactful business. And why is this so important? Just to remind you, you get great PR if you really, really focus on purpose. And I don't mean doing this in a way that, I just think I'll do this because I'll get some good PR. This needs to be something that becomes imbued into everything you do. This becomes the North Star of your business. Your purpose shapes every single decision that you make in your business. And it actually makes things a lot easier because you know the things to dismiss because they're not aligned with your purpose and what you want to do. And, interestingly, in terms of getting visibility and differentiating yourselves, PR is a great way to do that. And I said to you at the beginning, one of my mentors had got $500,000 worth of free PR from the work that they had done in donating to Coffee Kids for every pound of coffee that was bought. I think as well, it also makes sure that whatever you're doing is fun. We talked about energy earlier on. And if what you're doing isn't fun, you're not going to enjoy it. Your customers and your stakeholders aren't going to enjoy it. And we really want you to have a purpose in your business that's fun. And then your team members are going to get behind it, have higher levels of engagement, higher levels of productivity, and that's going to have a net profitability effect on your business. Also, I'd encourage you to stick, as I said, with these initiatives over a period of time and just watch the transformation. And some people say to me, well, Julia, I don't really need to make the money. I just want to do good. And that's fine. To people like that, I say, great. Because I remember the words of John Assaraf when he said to me once in a mentoring session, Julia, there is no such thing as a poor philanthropist, right? So if you want to make a big difference in the world, you want to create a massive impact, then you need to create the income in order to do it. It doesn't mean you need to keep it. You could decide to give that all away. But unless you have it, you can't do it. So I'm just going to close, because I'm right at the end, with these words from Richard Branson. Never has there been a more exciting time for all of us to explore the next great frontier, where the boundaries between and higher purpose are merging into one, where doing good is really good for business. I really hope you've enjoyed this session. Please visit my exhibition stand at Impact Igniters. I've got loads of free resources there for you to find your passion, your purpose, and what your values are and how you can drive your business forward. So thank you so much. If you've got any questions, just network with me in the chat in the exhibition stand, and I really look forward to speaking to you all soon. Hope you have a great day and really hope you've enjoyed this.